Hi everyone, very good morning, good evening. Welcome back to ITOM batch 3 day 13. How are you doing guys today?
Yeah, good.
Doing good. I'm good.
Good to hear. Okay, so again the same thing. If we before proceeding to the next things, do you have any questions in the yesterday sessions where we have done the mid-server installation using GIF file? Any questions from anyone?
I'm
Mm,
good, Ajay.
As I had a small doubt, if I'm working as a discovery developer,
Mm-hmm.
so while do I it needed to install mid server in my PC, or in that we need to install mid server in someone else PC? Like last time you have installed in a remote way.
Right.
So
So a mid server always going to be installed in the customer environment, not in our PC.
okay,
Now, just let me give you a brief example. Abhishek is working as a discovery engineer or discovery developer for XYZ customer. Abhishek is going to be on XYZ customer to understand their infrastructure, to understand what type of devices they have it, because end of the day he wants to be discover those particular things in ServiceNow on the XYZ customer ServiceNow instance, right? So what you do, you will ask that XYZ customer, provide me a Windows virtual machine for my dev, same for test, and two for prod. So I can, install mid application on it. And after installation mid application, I can connect with your environment and discover the devices which is available. So mid is not going to be installed in our machines or local machines. That is going to be installed always in customer environment or customer data centers and with specific OS versions, which is Windows OS Server 2012 and greater than that. And the same way Linux Red Hat 6 plus versions. So that's not in our instance or our system.
okay. While mid server installation, we create a particular user. That user would be the client user that will create for that.
Which user? We are creating two users. One is local user on ServiceNow instance and one is service account.
Yeah, so I'm asking about the local user.
Right. So again, that's a local user which you have to be create on ServiceNow instance. That is on ServiceNow instance. Right.
Okay,
Customer ServiceNow
uh,
instance.
it would be with the name of client, or
Anything. It depends. So sometimes some standard or the big clients using the some standard formats for the nomenclature always for everything. You can consult with them, sit with them. I need to create a user for mid server role. What name you are going to be prefer? If they mention no, I don't have any preference, you can create. So you can create the user like that way, so anyone can see, he can understand that is a mid server role user for, and using that mid server is running in our environment, right? But
yeah.
it's up to, if up to the client the nomenclature, and if not then we can do anything on that side.
Thank
Okay,
you. Yeah, got it.
anything else from anyone?
Yeah,
Michael.
so I'm sorry, I just came in now, but based on what I heard you talking about, so if the mid server is installed on the customer's system, how
Hmm.
do we carry out the discovery? Do we use our own personal system or use theirs? So the scenario is kind of a little bit confusing to me. How do we carry out the discovery if it's on the system, not on our own system?
Okay, Michael, let me give you an example here, a very simple example. You are using your mobile, right? Okay, and in your mobile you have installed WhatsApp application, right? And through that WhatsApp applications you are connecting with your friends, folks, or your colleagues and your family. right?
Okay.
If
Yeah.
if if you install the WhatsApp application in different mobile, not your mobile, your friend's mobile, did you able to connect with your family, friends and all?
Yeah.
No, you are not able to connect, right?
Yeah.
Because that is the numbers which you have in your mobile that not available in your friend's mobile. So you are able to access, or otherwise you have to be transfer that numbers to that mobile, and then you are able to connect with them. The same way here, let's take an example. We have a data center. Data
Okay.
center is mobile, where we need to be, search or connect with the data center device. Till that time I'm not going to be install mid application in their data centers. I'm not able to connect with all machines which is available in the data centers, right? So once we done that one, then we are able to connect with their machines, and then we are able to run the discovery. Discovery we have to be done or run from our ServiceNow instance. Our ServiceNow means customer ServiceNow instance, where we have to be implement discovery. So as you know, every customer is getting separate ServiceNow instances, right? For dev,
Yeah.
test, and prod. So you have to be start with the development. There you have to be install ServiceNow services, or sorry, discovery plugins. You have to be activate, and then install the mid servers and then credentials, and you can able to discover it. So whatever I'm just showcasing you, assume that is a ServiceNow. Oh, that is a ServiceNow instance which is belongs to customer.
Okay.
Okay, so end of the day we need a mid server which we can connect it to their devices in their data centers. Otherwise we cannot do that directly.
Yeah. So, okay, what the area I want a clarification on is that me doing the discovery for the client, I need the mid server on my laptop. The organization, the customer I'm doing the discovery project for, they need also mid server on the system, right?
No, so you don't need any mid server on your local machine or local
Okay.
laptop. A mid server always located in customer environment only, customer
Okay.
servers only.
Okay.
Okay, just here what I am doing, I am just connecting that mid server or the Windows server to access it and install on it, right? So example, you have a laptop and you are using Skype to connect all of us in this training session, right?
Okay.
If you don't have
Yeah.
Skype, are you able to connect it? No, right? And if
Yeah.
you have Skype, you are able to connect it, but if I mute you, do you will to be speak? No. Right. The same
Yeah.
way, remote desktop connection RDP or in my machine is something Microsoft Remote Connect Dex or Remote Desktop is helping me out to connect to
Okay.
the Windows server remotely.
Okay.
Right. So that's why you feels that is on my local machine. No, that mid server here in my case that is located on AWS data center.
Okay.
Okay, and which have access to my ServiceNow instance where I'm running discovery, where we are going to be run the discovery using that.
All right. Okay.
Okay, got it?
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Sure. Shall we proceed? Anything else from anyone? Okay, I think let's get started then. Let me share my screen. Okay, so again, I'm rephrasing these things basically. Let me know once my screen is visible, guys. Assume, I hope my screen is visible, right? To everyone.
Yes.
Yeah, it is visible.
Okay, thank you. So assume here my customer for which I'm going to be install or going to be configure the discovery that is now learning, right? This is my ServiceNow instance which is now learning. I have to be configure discovery on now learning. So as I earlier mentioned, what plugins we required discovery plugins. If I type here, you can see discovery plugins is activated here already. Otherwise, we can go and check where, go to the plugins, go here. If I type discovery, see it's if I go to installed, so service mapping, mid server, that is family plugins, discovery, admin workspace. This is, as I mentioned, when we are installing mid discovery, that is going to be installed automatically. So discovery and these 51s are available here, right? So as I mentioned, discovery you cannot install from your side, but dev and test you can do that. So the same thing here happening here, that is activated by ServiceNow executive. Just take an example of this, right? Now we have discovery installed. The next things comes in the picture is mid server. So now learning is my customer. I will reach out to now learning team. I need to run the discovery in your environment, but I need a mid server which have the connections to your all data centers, which IPs I want to be discover, or which IPs I just want to discover, right? So using that, he will provide me a Windows machine, right? So that Windows machine is this, and using this URL and credentials, I am taking the RDP, means remote desktop of that particular machine. So how I am doing, I've just added this particular URL in my RDP application, because I'm not available physically to connect that particular machine on their data centers or go to their particular server directly physically and configure it. Might be that will available in, like, I'm working from Bangalore example, and but that is available in that machine which they provided us, that is available in Mumbai or some other country, right? So they will not give you the visa to be go and install the mid server physically there, right? So that's why we required a remote desktop to connect that particular machine. So they are going to be provide those particular things, right? So once I connect, it's going to be continue. This is the simple thing. We are not going to install mid server in our local machine. That we are installing in customer environment only, customer data center only. Okay, now what next things we are doing here? We are going to be install the mid server using the MSI. If I hope you remember, we have downloaded the MSI file already. So let's get started with that, right? So let me go here. Okay, let's go here. Let's go to download. This is my MSI file, midserver.windows installer Washington DC. Let me start it right away. So when I just double click, let's see how that is works if we are going to be start directly from here. So it's like just an application like other applications we are installing. It will go in the same way always when we are going to do. Now you see I started directly installing that one. What error we are getting? We get mid server installer requires elevated privileges, use the built-in administrator account or launch the installer from elevated command prompt. Means the user which we have available here, that users don't have the admin access, and that's why we are not able to install it. And definitely when you are going to do that, you are also facing that same type of issue. So you have to be, how you can resolve or how you can tackle this one. Let me finish this. I just simply do one thing only. I'm just renaming this one. Okay, let's leave like that only, no issues. So what should be we have to do? Like we have to be open again command prompt with run as administrator, where the setup is available. The setup is available in downloads in the C drive. Let's put this particular setup to the C drive directly. Okay, now this is available in C drive. Let's go. Let's type cd to come out with this particular part. Now let's do it from there. Let's go rename. Let me copy this. But before installing, let's create a new folder again. I'm just giving name of tech track with AJ2. So we have already one tech track with AJ. I'm just putting 2. Okay, let's do. So let me put the URL and let's start. Okay.
I think you have to give that MSI. Yeah.
Right. So again, once the URL put, we have to be provide the extension .msi and then no. I think that's something different.
Is it cd dot dot? You need to.
No, I'm on already in C drive. Oh, I'm not.
Yes, you have to see.
My God, that's why. Right.
You have to be in your folder.
Right. I bad. I thought I in C drive only already. Thank you. So that means you guys are attentive. Thank you. Okay, let's go here. MSI. So once I click on, putting that path of the installer file, putting .msi, the installer will be start. And that we have to do from using the command prompt. Right, so let's do next. Here we just need to be accept this one. Let's go next. Here we have to be provide the URL, the username with mid_server role username and the password. So what is the URL we have? We have a URL is this. Now learning.service-now.com. Anyone remember what username we are using?
Yes, tech AJ.
AJ. Password, let me put is whatever we have done, 1 2. Okay, and then we have to be check the test connection, right? So let's test the connection directly. If your user and password is correct and if your user have a mid_server role, then only your test connection is passed, otherwise it will not. Second thing, the same way as I mentioned earlier, if your ServiceNow URL have that particular mid server have the connectivity to your ServiceNow URL on port 443, only in that case your test connection will be successful, otherwise not, right? So these two things must be there, otherwise your test connection will be fail here. And if it is failing here in this step only, just check these two things only: access on the ServiceNow mid server to ServiceNow instance, and check the user with mid_server role. Third thing can be possible. See, this is the user only, right? It's saying the access users _user.list. So just you see, right? So when I test the connection, it give that error, but what we are missing, let's check this one. Okay, tech track with AJ. What I have used, I used the same thing, right? If I'm not wrong, I think we added the admin right this time, last time, so that can be the reason. Right. ID again, test your connection. User cannot be authenticated or missing the proper roles, but it is correct. We are missing. And we have already a mid server running with this one. Let me see. Yes. If is issue with that particular things, that should not be run. Okay, let's see. This is interesting, guys. So this is again, we have to do troubleshooting here. Oh my God. Oh my God, what I am doing now? Did you able to find out anything? What I'm missing? What I'm doing wrong here?
URL, I think.
Yes, right. So by mistake, I just put it the now learning URL and the correct instance URL is this, right? So immediately, so sometimes that can be happen. We are trying with the wrong things and we see some issue is there, right? But it's not. So we just need to be again cross check our configurations and the things which we are putting here, right? So you see connection tested successfully, press next time to continue. I just close this one, but before that I'm going back again, going to be next. The proxy is here, edit mid connection settings. Let's do that, right? So proxy is here. So if customer is using the proxy, you have to be enter the proxy host port or sometimes username and password. If customer have the username password specific to use on the proxy, you can use it. Otherwise, host and port are mandatory. If customer using the proxy to connect with that or passing our service now passing our mid server traffic to ServiceNow through their proxy only. So they can track it, they can check it. If they want to be stop any transactions, they can do it on proxy level, right? If they are using. So we have to be configure this one. Otherwise, it's not required that much. We can leave it as a blank in our case because we are able to connect with the mid server directly. So let's go that. Now again, what happened? Okay, I'm using proxy now, that's why. Okay, it's done. Let's go to the next. What mid server name we have to be put again? So I'm just going to be configured that track with AJ2. Okay, mid server service account. So if you remember, we have configured a mid server service account. Let's go with that only. And the password we have put it is advanced#12. Validate mid server settings. Validate valid service settings, press next to continue. If we don't have already, again let me close this, if we don't have already created a service account and the password, we cannot move further from this step, right? So always before installing the mid server, be ready with the service account and the password which you have created on the same machine. If you remember, we have created this one, right? You guys remember that we have created in users and groups under the computer management. So now it's done. Let's go next. This is the path again where you have to be install the mid server. So that's why specifically I created a folder in the C drive which is I called tech track with AJ2, right? So I will go here, I will use the path. Okay, so my mid server will be installed on this particular path. I will go to next here. So you can validate the things here. That basic, this mid server name will be tech track with AJ, service name is SNC mid tech track with AJ, display name will service now mid server underscore tech track with AJ2, and this start mid server after installation. So once my mid server installation done, automatically my mid server will be started. So let's click on the next and install the mid server. It will take 1 or 2 minutes more, not more than that. Any questions till now, guys, from anyone?
Hi, Ajay. So,
Yes.
when we selecting the service account to install, what there is a plus sign just behind that. What is it for actually?
It's just for, find out the service account on your local system.
No, it was in the drop down, right? I think that in the right side there's a
Plus
plus
sign
sign.
is, okay, that plus sign, basically that plus sign is for nothing, is just for, you can add that service account from there, but it's not working. I tried many times. So you can create the service account directly from there. That's why the service account should be created before an installation of the mid server. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me finish this. Now you can see earlier say that my folder is blank when I created, but here that files are available now, right? Agent file is available and all other things, right? Now let's check the configuration, right? Because this time we have not done anything with the configuration of TechTrack with AJ, but we have installed through the installer file. So let's go and open this with Notepad and let's see the, okay, why it is, this is not should be the case. This is something happening, or the issues which you are able to see here. This is because of access issue, but yeah, see. So hey, I just showcase you on this side as well. Already. So parameter value, the instance name is populated here automatically. The name which we have given, parameter name, instance user, and that password is encrypted, right? So this is mid server user and mid server password, which is already encrypted here, right? And the values are true. Mid server name we have put it TechTrack with AJ2. Okay, policies are sorry, these particular things is out of the box, and we have not put it any other things related to apart from that, right? But if we want to be configure the proxies, we can configure the proxies here as well, right? So that whatever we have configured, it's automatically updated in our config file under agent folder, right? Now let's go and see the services is started or not, right? So first thing is, okay, I am in the service table, service. Now see, my all service is running. The TechTrack to AJ is running, TechTrack, this is also there, and ITOM batch is also there. And if you see here, when we use that service account automatically there while we installing mid server, my service is running with that service account automatically without any issue, right? But earlier, if you remember, when I'm trying to run that mid server services through that it's not working, right? So it is just access issue. That's why I'm not able to configure it from directly here. But if we are installing mid server and using the correct service account there, automatically that service will be running from that service account only, right? So we have 4 mid servers now. One is out of the box. We have it. This is I installed yesterday. This is TechTrack with AJ2, AJ, and AJ TechTrack to AJ2, right? So now let's go to my mid server table. Let's see. The service is, yeah, that is available now. I just want to showcase you one thing as well. That's why I especially use TechTrack with AJ user. Okay, so let me open this first. Here. So let's validate. Before validating, see, it is not recommended. Let me open this one. I think someone asked yesterday, can we use the same mid server user for multiple mid server installations, right? But here is the out of the box things here. it is not recommended to have multiple mid server logged in with the same username, mid server username. Mid server tag truck AJ has logged with a mid server username tag truck with this, while that user already in use. See the KB article for that, right? So it just created an error for us, and it will reflect all the time here till the time we have not take any action, or we have not going to be replace the user through the config file, or we should not install any other different mid server, right? So always remember, however, or multiple mid server if you are going to be installed, the best practice is create a new user always to run the services, or to use to connect with ServiceNow instance that particular mid server, right? So what should I do? I will just, for the now I can resolve this one, and let's see. If I resolved, it will disappear. But again, whenever my repeat server restart, or due to any other ways, it will showcase again, because that is not permanent fix, that is just a temporary fix for now. Again, I'm just going to validate it mid server. It's save.
Jay, if we use multiple user for a no, sorry, for a single user in multiple mid servers, it will give any a big impact, or it will just an error.
It will basically not an impact, but that is not the best practices basically, right? You can use multiple and the same user for multiple servers, but as per standards, ServiceNow says you should use a different user for different mid servers. Sometimes what will happen, but what is the logic behind that? Let's take an example. You have created one user, and which is used by all mid servers. It's 4 or 5 mid servers which is available in your organization. But if the mid server is deleted by chance, so right, your all mid server down immediately. If your that user is logged out due to any XYZ reasons, your all mid server will be down, right? Or couple of other scenarios if that is on AD, right? So that's why if you are using different users for different mid servers, it means you are little bit safe, and your mid, if it is impacting, it will impact only one server only, not the all, right? If any issue happens with the user. Getting my point? Right. And now you can again see I am able to see unresolved issues. I just fix it, right? But it's restarted while we revalidating, and it's again appeared. So do you want to see how to fix this one? Let's create the first a user. Okay, let's go to this. Where is my user table? Yeah. Let's go. The user ID is this. Okay. Last name is not required. Save. Edit. Mid underscore. Done. Set password. Let me put somewhere.
You need to give the admin role as well.
No, not required. Admin role is not required every time. But I think no, not required. I think. Let's save the password. Close. Now let's copy the username. I think admin role is just I provided for some specific thing only, right? Not for that thing. Okay, now let's do one thing. Let me open a new window. Let me go to my ServiceNow instance. The username is this, but the password I just saved somewhere in Excel, right? Yeah. Let's go. Done. Okay, yeah, it's done. Let's log out from here. Okay, now let's go back to our this, not this, this. Okay, so always remember one thing. Whenever you have to be change anything on the mid server, just stop the services of that mid server for that particular time. Like, if you want to change any configuration file or anything else, right, any activity you want to be performed, just stop the mid server services beforehand. Okay, now what we'll do, we'll go to this one directly. We don't need to be required to reinstall. We directly go here in the config file. Let's open this config file. Shit. Yeah, open with notepad. It's not allowing me to open with notepad. Why? Okay, let's open in different way. WordPad. There is some issue with my access, definitely. Let's open with Internet Explorer, I think. Oh, this is not allowing to me.
So, Ajay, this error, this access issue is in the RTP or in the instance actually?
No, that access issue on that RDP machine with my users. That user is provided by Now Learning to us as a customer, right? So user, they have provided administrator or something, right? The issue with that particular user access, right? So that's why I'm not able to do that. So I can have that particular things, no issues. I think I can do from here as well. Notepad. What is the extension of it? XML. No. Config.xml. Let's see. No, it should not work. Let me do in different ways. Open directly. I think I don't have any. I have not seen like that issues, but I can modify sometime. If it is the issue, choose any other app. Okay, let's try with this particular way. Not so. We are in C drive. Track with AJ. There are two users, which is special permissions I don't administrator. I cannot do that, right? This is the only reason I'm not, because I don't have that some special permissions, we can say, or a complete access on that machine, right? So I'm not able to do that from our side. So that's why I'm saying, you know, always check the proper access which is provided by the customer to you. No, nothing. Okay, let's do this way. Folder currently have permissions. No, have not permissions. Don't have permissions. Okay. I think I'm not have anything open. This time is open, right? So what's the username we have created, but I think I'm not able to add it from here. No, I have to do through the notepad only, or the another thing. Let's try this with notepad again. Yes, now it's open. Right, so let me do track with AJ2 and the password which I've just done. Advanced has 1.2. It will be, you know, encrypted automatically. Let's save this file. Okay, now it's done. Let's go back to our services again to start the mid server service, and it's done. So means the username has been changed now. Mid server is running. Let's go to the ServiceNow instance. Where it is, this. It's showing down. Why? Let's wait a couple of seconds. Yeah, it's up. And if we resolve this issue now, it will not come again because we have permanently fixed that issue. So we just go and resolve this. In the same way, we just go and resolve this. It's not happening. This is also done, and this is also done. Yeah. So now you can see the issue is also resolved, and it will not appear again because we have done the permanent fix. So always remember, just create a different users for different mid servers, login users for different mid servers. So it will not impact to each others. Basically, that is the best practice here. Any questions till now, guys? No?
No, sir.
Okay. Let's quickly go to the next things which I have it related to. So, you know, we are going to be skip, as you know, we are going to be skip the training for the next week, right? So till that time, just install mid servers, get the Azure or AWS freeware, get that virtual machines on the Windows or Linux, install mid server there and try it. Or if you have you know, partner of any organizations, your organization is partner of ServiceNow, go to Now Learning, get, you know, ServiceNow fundamentals and get that mid server from there and install it. Just try to get, you know, little bit deep on that side, right? The next things, you know, so we can rephrase this things again, but for the time being, how discovery works basically, right? So that needs to be understood. So we are able to install the mid server. The next thing is only we just need to be create the credentials, firewall policies need to validate, and we have to run the discovery, right? So how discovery works basically, right? So discovery works on the first steps. Instructions are placed in the ACC queue as a output probe. So I think I already mentioned, whenever you are putting or pushing from ServiceNow through ACC queue to mid servers or through ACC queue, basically that output, that input queue which you are putting, or that, you know, commands you are putting, that is going to in output queue, output probe basically. So if you want to see what we have triggered from ServiceNow, you have to refer the output queue only, not the input queue. Okay, Second things, mid server monitor the ECC queue for jobs to be worked. So mid server will monitor what instructions he received it, and based on that he will try to trigger that particular instructions to particular type of machines or target devices to collect the data. Third is mid servers and props and pattern to gather information using industry standard protocols, right? So the third, basically, as I once instructions has been received to the mid server, then props and pattern will be triggered to collect that particular informations, right? Then again mid server report the response back to the ECC queue to the input record. Again, that once you will see that the result is coming or response is coming from the source, that will always come in the input queue only, right? So that will go to the input queue. So if you want to see any issues, any errors with your payload which is written from ServiceNow or which is written through mid server or ECC queue, you have to be refer the input queue always. The last is inserting data to CMDB. So that XML payload, that input record is processed, that CMDB is updated after running through the identification page. So again here it will check the identifications if the CI is already updated. If it is not, then it will update the if it is already updated, already available. If it is not, so it will create a new one. If it is already available, it is going to be update the existing CI only, right? So this is basically it's complete discovery procedure, or you can say that mid server, how mid server is going to be act as middleware here to be collect the data and populate service now. This CMDB basically. Right, next thing is how horizontal discovery. Basically, I just already covered this one multiple times, but horizontally discovery is going to be collect the data horizontally and populate the ServiceNow CMDB for the target machines only, right? So it's just in a view or image, you are able to see that things are going horizontally to collect the data. Next is, which is something I think we have already discussed about that one, or no? So, okay, if not, let's do 5 minutes job here. So how, okay, one moment, what is this? Okay, let's leave this one. Okay, so there are 4 steps in discovery. One is scan or Sesam prop. Second is classification. Third is identify, and fourth is exploration, right? So in scan, Sesam prop launch, scanning IP of particular range will be identified, and checking that active device and active port numbers on that machine, right? So Sesam prop will be launched. Let me showcase you, if I can showcase you. Yeah, props. Yes, this is the first prop which is going to be triggered when you are going to be start discovery for any IP. Let's open completely, and you can see here determines what device are active by doing a target port scanning. And now how that is going to be scanned. So these are the 5 prop parameters. Sorry, my bad. These are the 5. Okay, let me one moment. Yeah. So these are the 5 prop parameters which is going to be triggered from here. Debug, generic TCP wait for connect 5 ms 300 3000 seconds ms seconds, HTTP for 5000 ms seconds, miss discovery payload size will be -1, and TLS key positional certificate is false. If these things are matching as a prop parameters, that will be means just validating. And sensors which is reacting to that is something this one. So this is the sensor which it means in this that sensor basically passing the data whatever we have triggered from ServiceNow and collecting the informations and passing to us. So this is the particular thing which is going to be used to collect the data from there. This particular code will work, and putting the data in input queue of ECC queue, and we are going to use that particular to update our CMDB basically, right? So this is that. Now next thing is yeah. Okay, so Sesam is triggered, which just going to be check the ports and device is active or not, right? To scan the IP ranges. Second thing is classification. In the classification, determine device type by OS. Like let's take an example. If we found the port 135 we open, based on 135, we are assuming if 135 port is open, that's a Windows machine, and that's going to be classified as a Windows server. And again, we are going to be launch the port patterns against the active devices, right? So here in the classifications, if Windows device we find out, the credential is going to be matched from the credentials table, and based on that it's going to be classified. Yeah, it's a Windows server. Let's go to the next step, which is horizontal patterns will start from there, and identification section will be triggered for the pattern, right? So here it's using the particular patterns. We are going to be gather the informations like name, serial number, to check in the IRE table, and or to check in the existing CMDB records, and based on that CMDB creates or update a new record, and then exploration will start. In exploration, we're going to be continue to update the CIs regarding the more informations about the CI or running processes or different informations on it. Right. So always there are four phases in discovery life cycle, which first is scan, classify, identify, or exploration. Sometimes explore we can say exploration, identify we can say identification, classify we can say classification, and scan is Sesam probe as well, right? So it's just a naming convention only, but scan, classify, identify, and explore, these are the four things which is going to be. Until these first two, that question also comes in discovery exams multiple time. In scan or classify, the props going to be used, but after classify, exploration or identification, horizontal patterns are going to be used. In here specifically, that identification horizontal pattern triggered for that particular class. Here the exploration pattern will be triggered for that particular class to collect that information basically. And exploration is nothing, it's just a shared libraries pattern which is going to be used based on the condition match, and that will be going to be triggered and collect the data from ServiceNow instance to populate that CMDB. So any questions till now?
No, Ajay, I'm good.
Okay, any questions from anyone else? I think we are good now for today. We'll connect on 6 June again, and we'll start from there itself, right? So meanwhile, just go and do some practice to learn something, and let's see how the things moving here.
Hello, Ajay. I have one question.
Yeah.
We will be covering IRE rules and we will be doing that or not?
No, why IRE
Okay,
rule covers Archana? I'm just kidding here. Definitely, we are going to cover the IRE rules. Without that, discovery is not nothing. And CMDB is
okay,
it's completely. Definitely, we are going
okay.
to cover 100%. Don't worry. Okay.
Ajay, I have a small question actually.
Yes.
So, so what is the what's during the mid server installation? What part we should follow? What is the recommended through the MSI installation or that through the zip file? Like we have changed the configuration in the config.html.
It's up to
What
us.
will be the
It's not. There is no best practice to do that. But it's up to us. What I follow the MSI one because I feel I'm doing something. Right. Otherwise, just changing the configuration files, it will, I don't think, right? So that's why I follow that I am doing some installation on the mid server, and everything is done in a single go, right? Otherwise, in configuration file side, what will happen? We have to change the configuration file, then we have to be change the ref per file, and sometimes that we will miss something there. It's a configuration, right? But if someone is navigate you here, you need to be put your name, your father name, your mother name, so you will putting in the correct way, right?
Mhm.
So that's why I feel, or I do through MSI always. And that MSI is like now, earlier that same thing is available through the zip, or installation thing as well. So that MSI which is removed now from the zip, that is also available under the zip only. We can double click there in the zip folder and directly going to be install the mid server. And earlier that there is no restrictions to install the mid server on the Windows OS server only. We can install RR Windows 7 or 11 as well. So that is done from last 4-5 years, 4 years approximately. The changes.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Anyone, guys?
Ajay, if we are using same service accounts for two mid servers, it's gonna give same error.
No. Service account we can use for the same mid server. It will not give you an error, but we cannot use the mid server user to for same mid servers. That should be different. But again, always remember service account. If we are installing multiple mid server on same Windows server, then we can only use same service account. Definitely, we cannot use the same service account which we have already created if we are installing mid application on different Windows server, because we need to be create another one there on as well.
Yes, yes, Ajay.
Okay. Yeah. So we can use.
We don't have class next week.
Sorry. Yeah, we don't have class next week completely.
Oh, okay.
I hope you're okay with that. Just to be take care of your family, and next week is New Year, so might be you have to be celebrations and go out with your family, and just give some family time to them. So that's why we plan to skip the next week class.
Happy New Year, Ajay.
Same to you, Archana. Thank you. So thank you guys. Happy holidays. Happy New Year in advance. Keep growing, keep learning. Don't waste the whole week. Okay, and start or do some troubleshooting related to mid servers. We'll catch you again on 6th Jan. Till the time, have a good day. Bye bye. Take care.
Same to you, Ajay.
Thanks again. Same to you.
Happy New Year to everyone.
Thank you guys. Bye
See you
bye.
in advance, everyone. Bye.
Happy New Year in advance. Bye all.